again, everyone. This is going to be part one of the 15-inch Dumont 1949 model TV restore. And I'm out here in my two-car garage. My plan is to take the two chassis out of the set and take them to the basement shop. I can work on the chassis without the picture tube. Hopefully make it a little easier on me, because I don't want to carry this TV all the way down to the basement, 125 pounds or so. This has two separate chassis and they're joined together with a cable. So I plan on pulling both of those out today. I have a test tube I think I can hook up in the basement to work on this set. So let's get started. We're going to try to get this high voltage chassis out. This is called the high voltage power supply. Try to remove it first. And there's one plug goes over here to the main chassis. There's another plug. I think, other than the high voltage lead, I think a couple of screws in the bottom, and this should pull out. Alright, I have the power supply high voltage chassis loose. Need to unhook the anode lead. No juice there. Probably hasn't been turned on for a long time. So I think that's ready to come out. And we'll definitely hang on to this tag, put it back on the anode, or keep it on the anode lead. May need a new cup. That's a different critter there, the way it's made. It's like a little button that pushes on. And there's a close-up of the anode on the picture tube, the connection. And it is just a little post or a little button that sticks up, and the lead just snaps down on top of it. Okay, let's see if we can get the main chassis out now. And looks like here we have a speaker plug. Need to just unplug that. There's the eye tube. I think it'll just come out of that holder with no trouble. And then a couple of bolts underneath, and that should slide out. We'll unhook the tube. And the yoke has a plug on it also, right here. That'll stay with the chassis. Alright, took all the knobs off the front, including the tuner channel selector knobs. Screws are out of the bottom. I think it'll slide out now. I'm going to have to make some room here, so let me see. Okay, it's probably enough room. You really want to be careful with that tuning dial. Looks like it's a big piece of plastic. There's a big dog bone resistor. And here's an empty cabinet other than the picture tube and the speaker and the yoke. And a magnet. Stick this up on its side and just look at it real quick before I take it to the basement. Well, without my reading glasses on, Can't really point out any replacement parts. I'm sure there's some in there. We can kind of tell by the connections on the end of them if it's a factory sorter job or someone's replaced them. But anyway, we got the chassis out, and it is heavy. One interesting thing that I was reading about in the service literature, this relay. That's designed to make a soft start, if you will. It lets some of the tubes warm up before that relay kicks in. That way you're not putting a lot of current surge all at one time when you turn the TV on. So some interesting things going on in this set. It's like all four of the feet, little cushion feet that set down in the chassis right here. They're all disintegrated and breaking apart. That just threads in, so we'll need some new feet on those. Hey, we're a long way from that though. Not worried about problems like that. This tuning dial reminds me of an airline radio I restored that had the plastic disc, and it was disintegrated, and it rolled against a little pulley like this. That's what turned it. This one looks to be in good shape, and it's made out of pretty thick material. The prettiest part's in the back. You can see there. It's multicolored, and when that's lit up, it's really nice looking. So let me get these two chassis down in the basement on the workbench, and we'll look at them a little closer once we get them down there. I really want to take my time on this set because it is a pretty rare set. Not going to be a rushed restoration. I'm going to take my time and make sure I'm doing everything as well as I can. So down to the basement we go. And I misspoke. This is not a high voltage power supply. It's called the flyback power supply. Kind of the same thing, but here's what they call it, flyback power supply. While I can see the bottom of it, like replacing those paper caps and working on that end, I'm gonna pull this shield off. We can see down in where the tubes are. Take a look at it. And of course, screws missing. We got one missing there. I only had two in it, so I don't know how many it's supposed to have. But I think I'm loose. There we go. All right, so Dumont went overboard on tubes, that's for sure. I think there's 34 in this set plus the picture tube. So there's 7 of them right there. And it's a typical 1B3 there. Nothing out of the ordinary. That looks like that's an electrolytic there. Looks to be. We'll definitely have to replace that too. There's the 2 jacks that plug into the other chassis. Pretty neat system that they have there to be able to work on both chassis, so we'll see how easy it is once I get into it. This is definitely the heaviest side of that transformer. But just taking a look at the top here, of course dusty, but like all the tubes are there. It is interesting that they used a RCA type jack for the antenna input on these sets. Alright, let's tip it up and look underneath. These black spread caps definitely have been, they are replacements. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, looks like about 7. Maybe another one over there. Goes in, looking at this is a Dumont literature I have. And in looking at the capacitor layout, you can tell by the color of them, they should be a tan paper type. And they definitely have been replaced. And that just means the set's been worked on. We got some power resistors up here that could be original. I'm not sure about them. This looks original. Of course, these are paper ones. Not sure about that one. Yeah, it probably is. Looks like it's still got the insulation on it. There's a relay I mentioned. Curious as to what we're going to get involved with there. I mean, it's just a relay circuit, I know, but never had one on a TV before like that. But really pretty clean underneath. The wire looks good. Don't see any deterioration on it. That's a beefy focus control. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Big old wire wound there. I hope that's okay. First thing I'm going to do is take that plastic dial off. I don't want to get that to get damaged. Put it up where it's in a safe place. And then we'll check the tubes. And before I take the dial off, I marked the shaft with a little dot and the dial with a little dot, so I can put it back in the same place. Alright, I got it off, but I loosened that set screw and it would move, but boy, it was really hard to slide it on the shaft, and I thought, well, it's just froze up, been on there a long time. Well, no. Another set screw. Leave it to Dumont. They put 2 set screws instead of 1. But there's the dial. Very colorful on the back side there. And there's the front. And just wiped off the top of the tuner. And it is a Mallory induct tuner, it's called. Quite a few of the older sets back in the late 40s used this type of loose tuning. There's a good example of just cleaning the chassis off. I just wiped that off with some Windex and a paper towel. So this chassis should clean up really well. I don't see any rust anywhere. Only rust I see is on the transformer nuts. We'll probably take them loose and clean them off. Top of the transformer a little rusty. We may repaint that, but that's cosmetic stuff. We won't worry about that right now. We gotta get the set going first. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, and we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Thanks.